to another episode of the Poddy. I think this is the Poddy 4. We have on our episode today Katlego Chauke, the animator, and we must not forget that this episode is sponsored by gas station glory holes. Katlego, what's up, homie?
Wait, slow down. Gas station glory holes. Is that the sponsor?
That's the sponsor this day's episode. So it means that you should go and visit your local ones.
I don't know. Do I have to go to Sassel for that or not?
Sassel, I mean...
Or BP, nah?
I feel like BP will probably have the best ones.
Yeah.
I feel like if Engine probably has the cleanest ones.
Yeah, bet.
Because, I mean, if you're connected to a Woolworths, you've probably got access to the best glory holes.
Yeah.
I'm shocked there's no Woolworths brand condoms yet.
Why?
Okay, fine. I'm sidetracking.
It would be expensive.
They would be expensive. What do you think they would do in order to make them better? Because Woolworths things would they've got the extra.
You wouldn't feel embarrassed buying.
Yeah.
That awkwardness. Facts. When you're at the cashier and you have to buy. You know what I'm saying? If you're buying the Woolworths ones, bro, you're fine. Everyone, even the guy behind you is like, yeah.
You're getting something. Go boy.
Yeah.
Go boy.
If you buy Lovers Plus or something. No choice.
Damn, bro. I'm probably telling the jet behind me hey, yo, G, check what I'm buying.
Yeah,
I want you to see now.
Exactly. I'm gonna show that shit off, man.
Shit. But how you doing, though?
I'm good, bro. I'm good.
Okay.
I'm very busy, but it's good busy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Working on projects, so doing something for Nickelodeon. That's what I can say.
You're doing something for Nickelodeon. That's crazy.
Yeah, so I'm working on a series.
I feel like an old man. I just had to put on my glasses so I could look at the camera. I look at the laptop. And now I'm taking them off again because they're crusty. And don't judge me, I'm only 25. Anyway, so you're doing something for Nickelodeon. That's bad. Yeah. That means at this point you've done something for Disney. You've done something for Netflix. You've done something for Nickelodeon. Mm-hmm. Damn.
So I've almost got the Infinity Gauntlet of my childhood.
Yes. Okay.
So next is Cartoon Network.
That's
one. And there's a few people that have done work for Cartoon Network, which is quite great. There's a guy. His name is what's his name now? I forgot.
Nice. Whoever the guy is about to get a cosign. But congrats to him.
His name is down here. So I'm going to give you work now.
Okay.
I think it's Lee Sibu, but he did a show on Cartoon Network. There's people that are. There's a lot of exciting stuff coming up soon. Yeah.
Is it an accessible thing? Is it reasonable that you could actually work on something for Cartoon Network soonish?
Definitely, yeah.
Crazy.
I think we're finally getting to that point where Africans can now tell their story. Japan's had it. Really much.
They've had it for a span.
America's got it. The East have had it. The West has had it. Now it's time for Africa. Is it
a thing of because I know you've worked for different studios that have obviously created different things. Is it a thing of studios are now looking into Africa and being yo, throw us pictures what can you guys make, or are your studios on the hunt hey yo, we feel like we can create, give us the opportunity to create, or is it somewhere in the middle?
Yeah. It's definitely one of the ones where now the world is let's make something that's global, that's from you guys, because the talent is here. We have so many talented artists, it's crazy. So and the nice thing about us as South Africans is we always had a good work ethic, and we grinders, we're hustlers. South African animators or people within the CGI industry, especially even coding, gaming, they've always actually been there, but under the radar. And a lot of us are expats in the States or the UK, Europe, doing stuff. But then a lot of people don't know about that, But now, there was a show called Kizazi Moto.
Yeah, I've actually heard that. I haven't had the opportunity to sit down and watch it. No, but we did say. Yeah. I feel like we did say we'd be doing the same thing every time. Is we would sit and watch it together. Yeah. The same way we watched the arts. And by the way, that I want to show everybody. The same way we watched CLT, which sits in his office proudly. I don't even put my degree in my office. What's it called? The same way I want us to sit and watch Kizazi because I feel like like the insight would be different.
Dude,
watching with them, it's like watching director's commentary.
Yeah, I'm not watching it as often just so that I can forget it, so that like when I watch it again with like you,
a
few of my other friends I haven't watched it yet. When we watch it together, then I can be like, oh yeah, that happened. Especially with the other episodes. So it's basically every studio took on their own episodes. That's why there's so many different styles and look and feel, which is really nice. And a lot of them are, so it's commissioned by Disney. Triggerfish and Disney came together. Okay, let's do this. And it's one of those first projects that are like uniquely African.
Yeah.
That is now, the world is also taking it. And there's even another show called Kia and the Kimoja Heroes.
I've seen that. A lot of other like peeps in the industry I follow have been posting a ton about that as well.
And that's nice because you're getting African characters within and not even like your black child in the States, like your black child in the UK can watch this now and be like, hey, I can see myself. And there's even
representation mad important.
There's even a few things cooking within the industry for just having more. So there's another show by it's a 2D show that's coming out by Mind's Eye Creative.
Oh guys, I feel like we've been lacking good 2D animated content recently. So
there's a 2D studio called Mind's Eye Creative, and they actually just this weekend at Comic-Con they actually had a little teaser, little thing.
Sick.
They like released a little bit about it. I don't even know. But I know there's a 2D thing that's coming to Showmax, which is cool. They announced that, which is great. So.
Do you? Because I know, anthology series aren't like particularly new to the genre, but they're always a great way of exploring a lot of different creative ideas without being like bogged down by restrictions of like certain other like series types. So I remember watching Love, Death and Robots a while back. Obviously, short animated, similar idea, different studios coming together, animating and creating short form content in their own style. And I know there were some episodes of that were also very African inspired, but I feel like were made by African studios. So do you feel there's a difference between when Africans create African content as opposed to when other countries that say maybe that take inspiration from Africa and then create African stories that seem authentic, but like do you feel like there's a difference in that thing?
Not really, depending on like who's like the audience and if everything has a significance within it. So for example, on the Kizazi Moto, every episode had their own cultural consultant. So that's like so to know like why that certain material is used, so for that right context historically, so it's aligned with the culture. And you can draw from it, which is cool, but like there's also that like balance on where you culturally appropriating something or actually so there's a balance with that.
That's actually crazy. It's something you don't think that you need, but then once you have it, it's like, how could you have created something without that? Like a cultural consultant, now that I think about the concept of it, is like necessary. Like how can you create an African story without having somebody who deeply knows the thing that you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay, that's wild. And then you're not working for Triggerfish anymore now?
No. So I've always been on contract-based work with them, which is cool. Because it also allows you to, like, if there's a gap, you can take a break, because crunch time happens usually at the end of at the end of a film.
Crunch.
Or, so like usually...
I hear horrible things about crunch. Oh man.
Crunch time is fun sometimes, you make some memories.
He's saying that to cope. It's a healthy dose of copium that you're inhaling right there.
Literally, dude. So it's all been contract work, and it's also depending on like what your role is within a pipeline. So within animation, it's a long pipeline where you have people do 2D, the concept artists, and then they pass it to the people that take that 2D and then 3D, and then the 3D modelers and set dressers, character modelers and designers then take that and then they get it ready for people to texture, and then from texturing it goes to animation, and then from animation it goes to lighting to comp, and then you've done with the film. But you'll find that a comp artist at the end of a pipeline is also working at the same time as like a finaling or like a surfacing artist that does materials and stuff, and then there's a back and forth between that. So yeah, usually like iterations for like what clothes a character wears can go quite late into the pipeline, and that's where the contracts are in place for basically when we need you for this and that, because movie is like spread out over so much time, but you only work on this or this or this and that. Yeah, small little pieces like that. So yeah.
So what part of that pipeline do you fall into?
Yeah, so I do. So in college, I went to the animation school. And what a great like experience and time of my life. Because
we will get there. I feel like. Oh man, it's unfortunate if you don't have a great college experience. But
yeah, for sure.
Pipeline, where do you fall? And then we'll get into where you came up.
Nip that one in the bud for now. So basically, in first and second year, they kind of expose you to everything with the animation pipeline. 2D, lighting, comp, animation. And then in third year, you pick your electives, which is basically what you're going to specialize in or what you're gonna focus on and what you're best at. So it's kind of like if you're talking about like a football team, right? You have 11 players. A goalkeeper can't now play striker. You know what I mean? But he's still playing football. So one thing that irks me about life, is when people say like, "Oh, what do you do for a living, dude?" I'm like, I'm an animator. I work in the animation industry, but I actually don't animate. I just put lights in place and I comp that, or I fix animation mistakes sometimes. So I don't actually sit there and move a character frame by frame. But I work in the animation industry. It's like a footballer, and then there's also the defender, and then there's a left back, and then there's a center attacking midfield. So it does get very niche. And like for example, I've worked as just a compositor. I've worked as
what is
so a compositor is basically the part in the pipeline where you are bringing all the elements and all the layers together. The lighting, integrating all the elements from the character and the background, all the effects together to make it look seamless, and it's all that magic. It's basically the magic at the end, the cherry on top. So if the film looks like a certain way and then like they want to grade something different, comp does that. They can fix technical issues in comp. So there's a lot of things within compositing or short comp that we do that falls under the radar. So like one thing that my lecturer used to say, shout out Mike actually, he used to say that comping is one of the most selfless parts of the pipeline, because what you do isn't supposed to be noticed. You know, like for example, camera lens effects. If the camera is looking at the sun, there's gonna be like a lens flare. But you can't get that in animation because you're not actually having a camera out and filming that lens flare. You're doing that afterwards. So it's those little elements that go over audience's head that we do, but it actually makes such a big difference when you take that out. You'll notice it if it's missing, but you won't notice it if it's there and done well. So you're supposed to feel it, not see it.
You'll notice if it's missing, but you'll feel it when it's there.
It's the same with like sound design, like this Foley that's been recorded of like the background, wind, and like small things like that we also like integrate. Like we integrate like how much the background is blurry, how much depth of like the fog is, the depth of field. It's a lot of like things like that comp does at the end, whereas lighting is actually putting a light, physical light in a 3D set. Like it's playing Dollhouse. Like people, when they ask like what do I do for a living, going back to that, I basically play Sims but professionally. Right, so like when you're like building your house and you can pick what color the door is and which mattress they have. That's a lot of what a 3D artist does. It's a good way of putting it like that.
Wild. So that football analogy was really interesting. I'm imagining it. It's as if like somebody's like, oh, what do you do? And you're like, I'm a soccer player. And then they ask you, how many goals do you score? And it's like, no, but that's not the position I play.
Exactly.
I'm a defender. I'm a center back. Like, essential to the team, but not necessarily what you immediately picture when somebody says soccer team. So that's fascinating. So now you go into... So you started an animation school 2 years and you pick your electives. How did you know which electives you wanted to choose?
So that's a good question. I always gravitated towards compositing, even in second year. Basically always liked to touch up my work afterwards. So even if it's just like a render, but then I'd go into Photoshop and then clean up a few things. That time I'm compositing. Even photography, like when I used to take photos back as a kid, I used to love playing around in the editors. Like even on Instagram, you know, with the filters, exposure and that type of thing. And that's what we do a lot in comp. Like we'll like bring down some values, bring some exposure up and down. So we do a lot of that.
How do you know like when it's like gotten the right thing? Like do you like, I mean, I know with music, for example, when you're listening, there's no oh, it needs to hit this specific level. You kind of feel it when you hear it. Is it the same when you're compositing, when you're lighting? Is there like a clear, it needs to look like this? Or do you look at it and be like, okay, no, I need to change this thing just so much slightly more because it's just not.
How do I know when I'm done?
How do you know when you're done?
That's a good question.
Especially because you're on that final stage of you're the one finalizing things.
Exactly.
How do you know when you're done?
That's where it's tough, because you can polish up something for long, you know, and you can always have different ideas as to where your art direction's going. And for me, basically, if it matches the other shots in the sequence, and if it's up to scratch on what the art director and the directors want. So that look and feel is already established way before. So once you've hit that check, but a lot of our work goes through iterations. So you'll have your first version, and then that will just be like maybe the base lights and the basic finish of a shot. But then once we've done with that, which is basically just putting all your layers together, it's putting the character, it's putting the clouds, it's putting the sky, the matte painting, the background. And then you send that off, and then your lead or your art director and directors then give notice and feedback. So then it's more specific.
So it's not. So at least it gives me a little bit of peace that the buck doesn't stop with you. You do it to the best of your ability, and then there is somebody that will double check your thing and be like, hey, we could touch it up here or here or here.
Exactly.
Okay, fascinating. And then if you were to now go through your entire animation like career, do you think there'd be a point where, I mean, I'm sure at some point you'd want to create your own stuff. So barring that, do you think there's a different part of the process you would like enjoy doing as opposed to compositing and lighting?
So when I first, when I was in college, I liked lighting, I liked compositing, I liked camera. I've always loved photography. I remember in grade 7, I came to the career day at school with like as a photographer. I wanted to be a photographer at that point because I always wanted to be in a creative field, but I was always into the camera and within layout, like where everything is placed, you know, how to tell a story without words. That's basically what I like to do, and that goes in line with layout, compositing, lighting.
That explains a lot, guys. He actually like blocked this entire thing. This is going to be my podcast, and I'm going to put it in the description that I did everything. But I will tell the truth now that he actually set this up. Like, it wouldn't look this good. This is his room, guys. All I did was bring myself. Okay, so I mean, so you've always known that you wanted to be a creator. Were the Reds supportive, dog? African Reds, were they always like, go off, dog. Do you be creative? Shout out, homeboy. Dude. Private college fees, have fun. Dude. Were they always backing you?
Private college fees for real, bro. Because I went to a public school and then a public school.
That's the thing, dude. That jump must have been mad.
Was crazy, but worth it because my parents always knew that I was good at this thing. You know? And that helped because my parents identified my talents really early, and they knew I was always bad at maths, and I wasn't really. I used to get like slightly like above average, like 60s, 70s, and then maths would always be like 40s, 50s. So I kind of knew at that point, like early, I did an aptitude test in grade 3. And I did one in grade 3 and another one in college, and the results are very similar. I'm very visual, I'm very abstract thinking is very high, so I'm really good at that, and I've always been in a creative family as well because my sister's in film too. Shout out Karabo, you know, she's a producer and
just won a whole award.
She's a very creative person. My uncle's very creative. He's a photographer. He's actually doing some radio stuff that he's getting into now, and he's always been a love of music. You know, my dad loves music. We're always playing music at home. I've got an aunt that's a jazz musician. I've got a lot of people. Doesn't
your mom do design too?
Yeah, my mom as well. She used to be a fashion consultant. So she would literally like she dresses people for a living, and she's very she's also very charismatic. So there's a lot of charismatic characters from my mom's side of the family that really helped me push that industry. I remember when I was a kid, I used to watch a lot of cartoons, of course, right?
Naturally.
And then my gran would always tell me...
That's why we were friends.
Yeah.
We watched a lot of cartoons.
So my gran would always be like, yo, you watch so many cartoons, one day you'll be one. And she would always used to say that, right?
Oh, that's so cute.
And I ended up literally being one.
No, but you were Popeye long before you were a cartoon.
Exactly.
It's okay.
They weren't busy Popeye once. They were like, hey, you're a real Popeye. And I ended up being one. I took it to heart. Yeah. And I think that's what helped because my dad was also, he worked with a lot of creatives in marketing and advertising. So he knew that was an era that was it's on the up. And yeah, it just made sense.
I guess, how did you, because for me, my family also knew this boy's a creative, especially my dad was always like, this boy's a creative, dog, don't do law, be a creative, commit to being a creative, etc., etc.
Yeah.
But the thing that I had always struggled with, right, is I had jumped between a lot of creative fields and a lot of creative avenues that I was kind of good at and I did enjoy, but they didn't stick, they didn't spark, they in the same way that I've discovered that radio is it. Radio is the creative avenue that I've realized I enjoy, but it took a long time to get there.
But it's obvious, bro, because you can talk a high leg of the monkey, so it makes sense. It makes sense.
That's the thing, it took me getting to varsity and then joining the radio station freaking 3 years into my degree to figure out this is it. When I got behind the mic for the first time and I was and I started speaking and this is so conceited. But the moment I knew this was it was I was with my co-host and we were chatting and then her friend tweeted damn, Zama, that was my co-host name. He's like, damn, Zama, your co-host, damn, bro, Tato's voice is sexy AF. And I was like, hey, yo, maybe it is. And I've never been embarrassed to listen to a voice note since then, nah? Yeah. But so I feel like animation is just as randomly niche. How did you realize shit, actually, let me not be a photographer, shit, let me not go into just straight up graphic design or random visual. How did you know animation? Because again,
it's
really,
not
really
in
niche.
South Africa. It's not something that we're exposed to.
Yeah,
we kind of just think that animation, the cartoons that we watch, just spawn.
They just happen.
It's just a thing, yeah.
And it's impossible that it happens around us.
Yeah.
It's a thing that happens very far away by randomly talented people that are, I don't know, handpicked or whatever.
And that's what I thought, because in grade 2, we were lucky enough to go to the States and went to Disneyland.
Nice.
And then, shout out to my mom for that trip, because that planted the seed. There was a moment where we went to an animation studio within Disney. Right? And they were doing Lilo and Stitch. Right? So we had an animator from Lilo and Stitch. Because remember, this is 2006, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Showing our age at the moment. 2006. And
no,
now...
it must have been Lilo and Stitch 2, I think.
Well, yeah, around that time.
Yeah.
Because even then, that's the year Cars came out. And that's my favorite film of all time.
Cars of all things.
I know.
Listen, the first one and the third one are really...
It's personal.
Really, really random, but
The second one is the random one. The third one ties it up together.
Yeah, the second one, the third one is a really surprisingly good ending to the trilogy.
For sure.
Why Carl?
So basically, during that time, I was drawing and my mom was like, this is good. Carry on. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was bad because this is a 8-year-old's drawing of Stitch, bro.
Yeah.
So it was quite bad. Mm-hmm. But my mom was telling me, this is good. Just carry on. And then I just loved it, and I wanted to do that. But then reality hit when I came back to South Africa. And I was like, let me try photography, and I wanted to be an architect at one point. But then my maths wasn't that good. Blah blah blah. Now coming back to what sparked it up and how I got there was in matric. I went to a graphic design workshop and I met a guy and he was like, hey dude, you must look into animation as well. He went to animation school. Yeah, his name is Terrence Maluleke and he's amazing.
You really remember all the people that got you to where you are now.
If you guys
every single step.
Yeah. If you guys know Ntako or Taco Universe, even Panda and these are guys that went to the animation school.
Yeah.
And now they're doing amazing stuff. Shout out to them. They've got they do drawings, so they do character drawings and that. But he basically told me about the animation school, and then that's when it all clicked for me. And I was in matric when you're trying to decide where you're going to.
Yeah, literally the perfect time. And
yeah,
that's when you were like, oh, okay, that's it.
Full circle.
Animation school, that makes sense.
Full circle moment happened. And then really? I just followed the due protocol with going to college, getting good marks, studying. The basics.
Probably, I mean, not saying it was easy, but it's probably like relatively easy to get the good marks because it was something you enjoyed and wanted to do.
Bro, like the only distinction that I got in matric was art.
Yeah.
For sure, because I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And that's what my parents understood. And going back to like that support structure, it's been really a straightforward journey for me. But like there's been so many incidences that I can like turn back to be like that was a real turning point for me now that I look back. Yeah. So
then coming up, so what's it like coming up in the creative industry? I mean, as a dude, podcasts, comedy, like creativeness is not easy, but it feels like you're on, like I always look at you and you're like, this dude is doing exactly what he wants to be doing. And it's not always easy, it's not always straightforward, and the bag is not always there. But like, you're getting contracts. You're building a portfolio, a very solid and strong portfolio. Like,
sure, bro.
My guy, you have a movie on Netflix. Dog.
I didn't expect it to all happen so quick, bro. Because I was like, okay, that's why I started Toonie Talk in the first place, so I can get into the industry. But then the animation school really set us up for industry so well.
That's really impressive.
It opened up, and there's a lot of youngsters now that are really pushing, and it's great. You're starting to see it more and more. And I think when I look back as well, in college, I was like, I think I'm gonna probably just work as a graphic designer after this. But on my graduation day, I literally got a phone call from Triggerfish. So
on your graduation day,
the day I graduated, I nailed my first job, bro.
Oh, what?
This is a blessing because I was actually asleep when I got the phone call after graduation. We're just chilling at home. We just finished watching Lola. And then I get a phone missed call.
You're making it now, dog. You're getting contracts. You're getting how's the come up in the creative industry, especially as a dude that looks like it's working out. It may not be working out perfectly. Maybe not as exactly as you expected it to be.
Yeah.
But like this forward momentum for you, which is a lot more than I feel like a lot of other people can say when they're attempting to enter certain industries.
Yeah, for sure. Like. When I graduated, I wasn't expecting to get into the industry so quick. Yeah. Because literally on graphic,
wonderful.
On graduation day, I was like, I'm gonna try get this job as a graphic designer because I knew someone that was doing editing and stuff, so I'd help him. Yeah. So that was my plan for after college, because that's always like a scary thing for anyone that's young. It's like, what am I gonna do next year? Yeah. That's such a scary moment.
And then, none of that shit is guaranteed.
It's not. So that's the scary part. But like on graduation, I got home, took a nap on the couch, woke up, few missed calls. I'm like, who's this? And it's like, okay, let me just phone.
Why did you nap on the couch, dog?
Bro, always.
You live here.
We were watching TV and you're just like watching.
Oh, okay.
So my gran was next to me, my mom, my sister, my nephew.
Oh, okay.
My dad was there.
I thought you got home from graduation and you're like, let me practice unemployment.
Yeah, no.
God, slept on the couch.
That's what happened. As soon as we got home, right? All just chilled. We watched the short films and we just chilled. We were watching TV. Nice. So I fall asleep. Wake up, okay, missed calls. I phone, they're like, hey, do you want to move to Cape Town and make some animations? I was like, what? So I was like, that was that moment that...
This boy got headhunted. Dog. Imagine.
Dog.
Where lost for you headhunted?
But I was good in college, bro. I was that guy.
Yes, sir.
Me, I'll even shout out Carmia Nodia. Like, she's also an amazing compositor. And yeah, man, I think our film, it was really comp heavy, so it allowed us to shine. And that's what really helped, because at the time in the contract they were like, oh, we need compositors, and we had just finished, so it all lined up perfectly. Yeah. So
because I was like, damn, dude, you got headhunted. Like, most people don't even get chosen by their parents, dog. You got chosen by a whole animation studio. Dog. Yes, okay, shout out.
So yeah, when I started working there, man, I'm like, these are like my heroes, bro. These are the people that directed and worked on Super Strikers, bro. Like Sesame Street, like Takalani Sesame, the little short films with the
You got this.
With the.
You almost there.
What's the word, man? stop motion. So with the stop motions that they used to do, I used to watch that and be like, oh, that's cool. And then they made a few other films like Zambezia and Kumba.
Yo, throwback. And seen that movie in a minute.
Yeah, right. And I was like, what? Like, I remember when I first met Greg Cameron, the director of SEAL Team.
Yeah.
I was like, he said, hey man, how you doing? I'm like,
he was animated.
I literally like turned around and like, oh, he's talking to me. Like, damn. So everyone was like so nice. And that's one thing that's lovely about the industry is like, we want more people. We actually want the industry to grow. So there's that like family element. It's very small, so everyone like knows each other. But we really want it to grow, and that's why skills development and exposure is so important for that.
Okay, so you think those are the two main aspects for the industry to grow, or like what do you think?
Need the talent.
What do you think there'd be more? Like, what more do you think y'all could do as an industry, as people established in the industry, to be able to expand? Because Ash should always be that.
Zaga.
Hey, my boy, always be the Rex.
Yeah.
Because the more people that can do this, the more talent, like you said, the more talent you're exposed to.
Yeah.
God, the better shit will get created.
It's very expensive.
Is it?
Yeah. It's very expensive.
Can you
so like even
on the budgets of things?
Going back to like school fees.
Yeah.
Remember like in high school you're paying like 8 to maybe 20k a month for a public school, and times that by like 5 or so, and that's your college tuition.
Yeesh.
So
hang on, 8 times by 12 because we both didn't do
no, we're earning the school fees was like 8 to 12, maybe 20k a year.
Oh yeah, I thought it was annual.
But then college is like 5 times that.
Yeah.
And the same thing with a live action film, right? And then animation might have to be like way more expensive. Even though
it's like there's a very high barrier to entry.
Yeah, there really is.
And it's very much at first it's very much a financial one, and then probably after that it's a skill issue.
Yeah, because it's like software, equipment, that's needed, and it's getting better for sure. Like the NFVF is really doing things.
NFVF, that's the National Film. Yes, yeah.
So. Yeah, they've been
doing what they can,
but yeah, it's just expensive to make animated films.
What's like,
especially to make good ones. Right? There's a lot of like subpar quality, but like for the price, you're like okay.
What's budgets that you're looking at? Like for example, like if you can
I don't even know, bro. They don't even tell me that stuff.
I mean, I don't even tell me. But like, I guess as somebody in the industry, gets to make budgets of like
I'll tell you
reasonable mid-level animated things.
SEAL Team was the most expensive film to ever come out of South Africa, if not Africa.
Damn.
Fact checker, check.
Hectic.
But yeah, SEAL Team, and then Kumba.
Yes, I remember that.
Is also I think in the top 3 highest grossing films in Africa. So I think number 1 is The Gods Must Be Crazy.
Throwback.
And Kumba is second. Yeah. So it's expensive to make, but they also make a lot of money. Merch as well. Merchandise is huge.
And then that's a big thing with cartoons.
Yeah, so definitely that initial funding is hard, but like once you've got the boat rolling, it's worth it for sure.
And not to say what you guys achieved wasn't like spectacular, because I enjoyed SEAL Team, but like, you know, if like something like SEAL Team was expensive, I can't imagine what like the much more higher concept, higher scoped projects.
Yeah, like Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, things like I can't imagine how much that shit was cost.
Even the Mario Bros movie, and like that's why a lot of studios are like that's why it's a bit tough for a lot of employees because you know
how you can see
what's happening right now in like the States, and you know unionizing.
Yes, there's a lot of striking, which is necessary. God, I mean, we don't need a CEO to have a third private jet and an animator to have to sleep under their desk.
Exactly, you know, so it's about that balance really.
Because I mean,
helps with IP, like,
which is crazy because like I'll look at a studio that will release like banger after banger after banger, and then have a dud, and then essentially have to close. Like, who was the most recent one? I think Blue Sky?
Blue Sky was bought by...
Oh yeah, no, Blue Sky was bought and then closed.
Yeah.
That was painful. Yeah, but I just, you know, creative endeavors are just getting really, really expensive nowadays.
It is tough. It's very tough to keep it all, because there's so many moving parts that you don't actually realize, but keeping them all moving, it's shout outs to production and the people behind the scenes for that. So with like budgets, for example, I think you'd have to have like 50 million rand for like an entry level
And that's great. That's rands.
You know, yeah.
That's rands.
Yeah,
dude.
man, it's very expensive. It's very expensive.
Yeah. Do you think they make a good turnaround? Like do they make their money back?
Yeah, they do. They do.
Okay, at
yeah.
least.
Kids is the way, bro. Like because you know they the ones that tell their parents, I want to watch this, I want to buy this, and parents will do anything for their kids. Right?
Yeah.
So, loving parents.
Loving parents.
So they'll literally like if you go you watch the movie, you can even buy the hard copy, and then there's also like now merchandising. Now with streaming, which is different. The nice thing is the streaming companies like Netflix has a lot of money. They've got a lot of money, and Showmax has money, you know, and they now starting to get their own IPs out as well.
Yeah, they got a lot of money. They don't mind throwing it around.
And a lot of films have come like that. So SEAL Team was also helped out with Netflix during COVID. So they actually helped fund the rest of SEAL Team to get it to over the line.
That's sick.
Yeah, because of also the time, you know, because we were actually going to have it in the cinemas in 2020. That was when we were expecting to finish. But then COVID happened.
Yeah.
And, you know, we were all stuck working from home.
How was that transition, by the way?
Oh, yeah, it was hectic because I've been working remote since then.
Yeah.
It's just our industry's kind of adapted to it. And it works.
After the fact, I was like, this is reasonable. This still works for us.
It still works for a lot of us. A lot of us are more productive at home.
Yeah.
Life balance. It's just about that discipline and also having like inverters and generators just in case of load shedding or anything like that. So yeah.
Man, okay. Because I imagine especially... Do you think you're still going to be subject to the same level of crunch now that you work from home?
It's a lot. It's up to you really, but I think the whole industry, in my experience, has been very nice to me with regards to that. So there's always been a good balance. If I've worked crunch, if I've worked overtime, I've gotten paid overtime, which helps because a few years back that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
But now it's really improved, and yeah, I think definitely it's been a good adjustment for myself. Although I do wish I did have some time with my team because like everyone is so cool and especially when you're starting off, just to like, you know, if you have an issue that you have to deal with, just like calling someone to your desk so that you can help you. Whereas now it's like Zoom call and then share screen. It kind of, but that made me better in my own way because I was really thrown in the deep end like that, but that as well just made me so much better.
It made you better, but it kind of stifled the flow and cooperation that would usually be there when everybody's in together. Yeah. Okay, and I guess last question in this thing then. What's next for you, you know? 5-10 years. Next 5-10 years. Like what's like the progression, end goal, future goals for you in this now?
Yeah, the sky is...
Well, last two questions.
The sky is the limit, man. At the moment, I'm just trying to become the best compositor and lighter I can be. Yeah. Because I really like that process. And just working on more and more films, TV series, shows. It's going well, and I feel like now the ball's really starting to roll. So yeah, we've had a short film. I've worked on a feature film. I'm working on a series.
Nice.
I want to work on a feature film again sometime in the future. But I think in the next 5 years, there's a lot that can happen. A lot, so I'm really excited about it, and stuff that I can't really talk about right now, which is cool, but there's some big things coming off.
Okay, so like it's big things that are like low-key set, like they'll be happening, not like it's hope.
Definitely.
That's sick. Yeah. That is so freaking lucky.
Yeah, you get something like, because I mean, it takes about like 4 years of pre-production on stuff. Like there's something that I'm looking forward to in 2025. But, you know what I mean? It's like, it's so like scoped out.
I don't even know what I'm having for dinner.
You have to have patience.
I'm having editing for dinner, that's what I'm having.
Yeah, speaking of editing, okay guys, put me on fire now. I'm gonna probably do that.
Super same with his dreads. I actually want to see that. Okay, and then last question. Yeah. Last. Young animators coming up, right? Either in animation school, maybe young in the industry, as if you haven't been in this thing for like 3 years.
That kid that's drawing in class, doing their homework.
Well,
that's my nephew right now. Actually, he loves drawing. So he's so talented, way more talented than I was.
So way more talented. By this age, he'll be better than you.
Oh, bro, yeah. By the time he's in like maybe grade 7, he'll be so good.
Shit.
I'm telling you. Yeah.
Okay, looking at him, what would you say?
Yeah, guys. So I'd say definitely Be yourself. I know it's the most, like, of course, obvious, but that's the advice that works the best. I'd say stay original, stay true to yourself, stay true to the art that you want to create, stay true to your craft, and don't be so, like, personal with trying to improve. Like, if you get feedback that's very negative on your art and your craft, use it as a way to get better. That's the best advice that I've gotten. Really look into yourself and your art and your craft, and be critical about it in terms of where you can improve, because you can always improve. And if you really love it, you'll really enjoy it, and with the passion, no matter how long you're working, how many hours you're working, whatever it is, whether it's music, whether it's film, photography, any creative endeavor, enjoy it and be consistent, and you'll be fine.
True.
Yeah.
True. Bars.
It's really simple, dude. It's actually very simple. You just have to know what you like.
Be authentic, be consistent.
That's it, bro. Literally. And you have to enjoy yourself. Like, you have to, like, be honest if you enjoy something or not, bro. That's, like, the one thing that I'd say is real, because I can't say...
Yeah.
I can't do this. Like, I always want to create something out of nothing or take something to a better place.
Like, it can be exhausting. You can maybe not be enjoying
but it's always
that particular thing.
Yeah.
But you know that, like, no, but this is still what I want to do.
Yeah.
As much as I might be hating this thing in particular.
Yeah.
Like, damn, I still want the output.
It's so worth it. And I get it from you, because, you've done stand-up now.
Yeah.
Like, that, when your joke lands, bro, and the crowd's laughing and you get that feedback, that is like a drug, bro. And for me, like, how people interpret or get your art is so worth it. That's for me why I do it, man. I love getting the reaction. I love seeing it come together.
So. It's actually crazy. Like, when because I still very vividly remember not my first bomb, because that was the first time.
When you die on stage.
Yeah, my first real. I'm performing in front of none of my friends. These are complete randos, and the first time I died on stage, I remember it so vividly, and it was the moment I knew. Me dying was the moment I knew that this is what I really wanted to do. That I dead ass enjoy this, because I remember looking at the crowd, having my jokes not land, and being like, okay, I want to get better.
Exactly.
This didn't work. But now I want to figure out why. I want this. I want to figure out how to make these motherfuckers laugh. Like, I will absolutely grind until it actually lands. And then, like, I have that internal drive to want to get better.
Exactly.
Even though I know I'm kind of mid right now.
Yeah, but it takes time. My lecturer always used to tell me that all the best animators, you can't call yourself a proper animator until you've done it for about 20 years. Like, especially the 9 Old Men, like the Disney original, like with Glenn Keane's, like he did like Tarzan and all of that type of animation. But it took them like 30 years to perfect. And if you're ready to grind it out for that 30 years, even more, then
then you'll get
you're on the right track.
Like, spectacular.
Exactly.
And you know what? That's the thing. I think like I'm very confident in myself. Some people think I'm overconfident. I personally like, I look at it. When I'm at a show, right? I'll sit in the room of other comics, and I will always look at these people. I'll listen to them, and I'll be like, damn, I'm the funniest nigga in this room. Yeah. Even though I'll go up there and I'll bomb, and other dudes will. But to yourself, that self-belief is so. I know it's fine. I'll grind, and eventually I will actually be the funniest dude in this room. It's sitting somewhere inside me. I don't know, behind my kidney or something. And like eventually I'll be able to pull it out once I've worked through all the like terrible jokes. Once I've brought out all the terrible content, I know the like actual fire stuff will be there. Just it's gonna take a while. Yeah, and you have to be willing to go through the valleys. Yeah, and you'll enjoy those peaks. The grind is that's where it is. Yeah. You know what? I think we could call it. That's time, guys. Yeah. But no, I feel like we're gonna come back. We're gonna have another. Oh yeah. I'm gonna come back on your show. Definitely. There's gonna be a Poddy 4.5. Yeah. If we what's specifically with Katlego? What's your like goals? What do you mean? Your like goal? Look at me. If we get 10,000 likes, I'll come to the next one. Okay. So he's going to be in like 8 years from now. He'll be on this another episode. Yo, but no, imagine if it's 10,000 likes. Imagine this episode 8 years from now. That's gonna be so crazy. That's what I also love to do, bro. I love just like looking ahead like that.
and then really get into it and then work backwards. So go 8 years from now and then just go backwards.
And be like, okay, so what do I need to do to get to that point?
Yeah.
I back.
But no, like if we get 1 like, I'll come onto the next. For real, guys. Like I don't care, I'm coming back.
Yeah, you know, like who knows? Like there'll be, he'll absolutely come back. He's like the most interesting friend I have. I'm sorry, everybody else. I still love
I
still love all of you.
I just like things, dog. That's it. Honestly, I just like things.
Like, you know, we had so much content, so much more content planned for this episode.
Yeah.
And it's like, nah. But you know what? I really wanted to get into, like, dude, there's an animator out there that doesn't know they're an animator yet until they see what you're gonna be doing.
Yeah.
That's but that's the thing. Yeah. So shit. You know, let's call it. This was the Poddy 4. Congratulations to everybody. The devil works hard, but Katlego works harder. And you can tell because he's on Netflix now. His credits are there. Can you say you have a TV show out there? I can't. Thank you for joining us, homeboy.
Thank you, bro.
Everybody, please like, please share, please subscribe. It really goes a long way. Like I always say, be a part of the Lamau Nation. It is your Minister of Good Vibes signing out. Subscribe to Fluke Fighter. Subscribe to Toonie Talk. Subscribe to Human Beings. You still running that?
Kind of, but now there's something with track identity. Track identity, that's like a whole thing. So I'm also doing music. But that's another conversation for another day.
What I mean when I say he does too much.
I do a lot, guys.
Yes. So there will be, I want to say I'll put the links to all of his things in the description, but I highly doubt the description has enough characters for everything that Katlego does. But either way, follow us. I know his Instagram is Katlego Chauke. You can find him there as well.
That's the main one.
That's his main.
That's the main one.
Thank y'all so much. Catch you.